I've been pointing out on this program 18 U.S.C. 793, mishandling classified information, the Espionage Act, and destroying it. By the way, it would apply to a lot of people. I've talked about if I was subpoenaed for all my emails and I deleted 33,000, and then I acid washed my hard drive. Nobody heard of BleachBit until Hillary Clinton, and BleachBit, and then had an aide bust up all my devices like she had happened. I never heard of an exoneration being written in May before you interview 17 key witnesses and the main person, Hillary Clinton, in July. The person that does the interview hates the opponent of Hillary Clinton. Then they exonerate her for, I believe, obvious felonies.
Right.
Then they talk about Russia collusion. Hillary Clinton and the DNC funnel money through a law firm, Perkins Coie, and unbelievable to me, a foreign national who we heard wasn't supposed to be involved in our elections, Christopher Steele, gets Russian sources. The FBI never verifies it. They present it to a FISA court to spy on an American citizen, a Trump campaign associate, weeks before an election. They never verified, they never corroborated, and they never told those judges in the original application, 3 subsequent applications, that Hillary paid for it, and they never verified it. Mr. Mayor, were laws broken? Let's start with Hillary. Did she?
Yes. I've been on. Look, we go back 3 years with this, Sean, when I produced my chart.
I remember
13 crimes she committed. Yeah. And we got up to about 18. I'm sorry, Hillary. I know you're very disappointed you didn't win, but you're a criminal. Equal justice would mean you should go to jail. I do not know why the Justice Department is not investigating you.
Did James Comey...
James Comey fixed the whole case again.
It was rigged.
Well, you can't read that stupid report that he wrote, which is the beginning of his destruction, in which he says we're not going to prosecute. No reasonable prosecutor would indict her. No honest, reasonable prosecutor wouldn't indict her.
He said today, or yesterday, Comey, he said Hillary deeply respects the rule of law. Comey said that.
Wow. Well, this is a very perverted man. I feel so sorry.
Do we have a 2-tier justice system in America?
Yeah, we have one for Hillary and all those Democrats. Bill Clinton.
Is equal justice under the law at risk?
You and I have talked about this. I am very afraid, not just for our president, but for our country. There's going to be a witch hunt against Republicans. You had the man on who's lost all his money. For what reason? He didn't do anything wrong. The president of the United States didn't do anything wrong. We are lucky that we have a president who can focus. In a way, it almost hurts him because they feel they can do anything to him, and he's going to remain focused on North Korea, Iran. What do we do with China? How do we help Israel? What do we do about taxes?
The economy has an incredible story. The media never focuses on it. I actually had to write this down. If we have the Hillary standard, the interview would never be under oath. It would never be recorded, never be transcribed. And by the way,
all the witnesses that are favorable to him would be in the room immunized.
Oh, and
Jared would be immunized. Cohen would be immunized.
We'd write the exoneration before the interview. Then we would agree to destroy incriminating digital evidence like they did in the case of Cheryl Mills and Hillary. And either you or Rush Limbaugh would do the interview.
Rush and I would not object.
Or Mark Levin. Right.
Mark Levin.
I don't think. Yeah. There was a Politico report today basically suggesting Mueller would now consider Ivanka Trump a target. Look at Hope Hicks as one example.
Come on,
she paid more in lawyers than she was ever paid.
Hope is. I wish the American people could get to know her. Hope is one of the nicest human beings you're ever going to meet. Yes, she's very loyal to Donald Trump, but I think the president would say this. She could stand up to him when she had to. What they did to her is outrageous, absolutely outrageous. Ivanka Trump, I think I would get on my Charger and go right into their offices with a lance if they go after Ivanka.
At this point, sir, I honestly agree with you. I fear for the country. Let me go through.
Now, if they do Ivanka, which I doubt they will, the whole country will turn on. They're going after his daughter.
What about his son-in-law? They talked about him.
I guess Jared is a fine man. You know that. but men are, disposable. But a fine woman like Ivanka, come on.
Andrew, let's go through the different issues that we have brought up and spoke almost exclusively about on this show. For example, you mentioned Hillary Clinton. She obviously committed felonies. We know what they are. You've identified them. I believe, as you do, Comey rigged that. Comey, look at Peter Strzok and Page. They hate the president. They hated the candidate. They talked about an insurance policy. Andrew McCabe lying under oath. James Comey leaking for the purpose of getting a special counsel.
Also, Comey and McCabe contradicting each other, in which one of them has to be lying. I mean, I actually think Comey's lying. I think Comey's a bigger liar than McCabe. Mm-hmm. I think McCabe is a situational liar. He's a much bigger liar. So if this were an equal system of justice, they'd all be prosecuted.
Let me ask you, because it's
my biggest regret. I'm sorry, Jeff, to say this, but
you offered the job.
Yeah, it's my biggest regret in not having taken that job. I wanted to be secretary.
My biggest regret, and I like Jeff Sessions, but he never should have recused himself.
Well, he never should have appointed Rosenstein.
I've never heard of somebody being appointed or confirmed and recusing the next day.
Do you know that Rosenstein was with Mueller the night or the day he was interviewed by President Trump to be FBI director? Walked out, knew that he was turned down, and then appointed him the next day.
Did you know Rod Rosenstein, apparently, according to reports that we have on this program, signed off on one of the FISA extensions, the one with the unverified dossiers, the bulk of information, as the Grassley-Graham memo said, that he personally signed off? Does that not conflict him out of all of this?
How about he's also a witness to critical information? For a Justice Department that pontificates, I told you, the only crimes committed here are by the government.
Let me ask you about them. Andrew McCabe said, without the dossier, there wouldn't have been a FISA application. I would ask you, doesn't the FBI, according to FISA, a law you're very familiar with, an FBI protocol mandate that they verify, corroborate what they present to a FISA judge? Isn't that mandatory? Wouldn't it be mandatory to identify that the dossier was created by an opposition party candidate and not as a political asterisk?
Absolutely.
Is that a crime?
Yeah. Yes. Obstruction of justice. Invasion of people's privacy on no basis at all. It's a civil rights violation.
Unreasonable search and seizure?
Yeah, it's a civil rights violation. If they searched you and me based on that, we'd sue them for a civil rights violation. This is a Justice Department completely unhinged and out of control. It breaks my heart, Sean. I devoted most of my life to the Justice Department. I worked for great attorneys general. My friend Michael Mukasey was one of the greatest, and I watched it with great admiration. My partner. Great admiration for Michael. To watch this happen under a man that I love, Jeff Sessions, I just feel bad. And I know the president is heartbroken over this. It isn't that he's angry, he's heartbroken. He never expected this from Jeff. The two of them can redeem themselves, Sessions and Rosenstein. They should order the investigation over.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen either, but if they understood Justice Jackson's admonition to prosecutors that I always live by, which we're not supposed to get convictions, we're supposed to do justice.
Let me stay focused on this FISA issue for just a second, because Rod Rosenstein, after they had subpoenaed the documents, went into Paul Ryan's office begging him not to release it. We never would have had the Nunes memo or the Grassley-Graham memo that said the bulk of the application was the dossier Hillary paid for. So my question is this. Not only that, there were 3 subsequent renewals with the same false information, the same lying by omission, if you will, by not telling the FISA judges that that Hillary paid for it.
If I stand up in court at some point in the next 3 or 4 months, where I really like to be, and I recite these facts, I think the judge is going to look at me and say, I don't believe that's true. How could the Justice Department have gone so far away from the fair and honest administration of justice under decent people? But I think the pressures on them was so great, they just caved in. And once again, I say, There's one way to redeem themselves. Get control of this. You remember Senator Stevens' case?
Sure. Oh, yeah, he lost an election, and then the judge overturned it all because they withheld exculpatory evidence.
Because of government misconduct.
That's correct.
Well, there's been more government misconduct in this case than there has been conduct.
Are you concerned? This was supposed to be about Trump campaign Russia collusion.
Gone.
It's gone. Okay. Never happened.
He's been cleared of
So
that.
my question is, are you concerned in the process of this? We did discover that a foreign national, Christopher Steele, was paid through Fusion GPS, used Russian sources that not only weren't verified, were debunked. Are you concerned that that was paid for to manipulate the American people in the lead up to an election?
Isn't that closer to the mandate than Michael Cohen?
Why isn't that? Where's Mueller on that, sir?
Having something to do with paying some Stormy Daniels woman $130,000? I mean, which is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. So
they funneled it through the law firm.
Funneled through the law firm, and the president repaid it.
Oh, I didn't know he did.
Yep.
There's no campaign finance law.
Zero.
So the president.
Just like Sean.
So this decision was made by.
Everybody was nervous about this from the very beginning. I wasn't. I knew how much money Donald Trump put into that campaign. I said, $130,000. He's going to do a couple of checks for $130,000. When I heard Cohen's retainer of $35,000 when he was doing no work for the president, I said, but that's how he's repaying. That's how he's repaying it, with a little profit and a little margin for paying taxes for Michael.
But do you know the president didn't know about this? I believe that's what
he didn't
Michael
know about
said.
the specifics of it, as far as I know. But he did know about the general arrangement that Michael would take care of things like this, like I take care of things like this for my clients. I don't burden them with every single thing that comes along. These are busy people.
What did you think of the raid on his office?
One of the reasons we would hesitate to cooperate any further, and I think this is what the breakdown with Dowd during back in January, that took them by surprise. That's beyond anything. That is an outrageous violation of attorney-client privilege, beyond Donald Trump's attorney-client privilege. A lot of innocent people.
I gave him $10 or $20.
How about innocent people like